All right, today we're jumping into a really wonderful story called The Brave Sheep. Now, this is a tale about courage, but maybe not the kind you're thinking of. It's really about finding your strength in the last place you'd ever look, and the power of having a clever heart. But hey, before we even meet our hero, I want to ask you something. Just think about this for a second. What if your greatest weakness was actually your greatest strength? I want you to just kind of hold on to that thought as we go through this. Okay, so to see how that idea really plays out, we've got to start at the beginning. And we're going to meet a hero who, well, feels anything but heroic. Let's meet Lumi. So, who is Lumi? Well, she's this small lamb, and she lives at the edge of this huge, vast forest. I mean, you've got powerful bears and wolves all around. It's a big, intimidating world. And in the middle of all these giants, she's kind of come to this quiet conclusion about herself, that she's just too little to matter. In this slide, wow, it really lays out what's going on inside her head, right? On one side, you've got the raw power of the forest, the heavy steps of the bears, the sharp eyes of the wolves. And then, on the other side, you see how Lumi views herself. Thin legs, a quiet voice, small size. For her, these aren't just like descriptions. They feel like major fundamental flaws. Every great story has that one moment, the one that just changes everything. And for Lumi and her flock, that moment is about to arrive in the form of a sudden and pretty terrible loss. So here's the deal. The flock has this sacred thing, a golden bell. And we're not talking about just any old bell, no way. This has been passed down for generations. The sound it makes, that's the sound of home. It's their symbol of safety in a pretty dangerous world. So yeah, the stakes here are incredibly high. And then it happens. A huge storm hits. The old branch that's holding the bell, it just gives way. It snaps. And their one symbol of security just tumbles down right toward this rushing, raging river. It looks like it's about to be swept away forever. Okay, so the whole flock is in chaos. Total panic. The big animals, the strong ones, they're too heavy, too clumsy to get down that dangerous slope. And right there, in that moment of pure fear and confusion, a small voice just cuts through all the noise. It's Lumi. And even though she's probably shaking, her words are so clear. I'll go. And just like that, with that one decision, the whole story pivots. This isn't going to be a tale about brute force. Nope. It's about something totally different. A much, much cleverer kind of strength. You can almost hear the click inside Lumi's head. Suddenly, she realizes that all those things she thought were weaknesses, being light, being able to balance, those are the exact skills she needs for this crazy, impossible task. Her entire perspective just flips. And this brings us to a really cool idea in the story, something called clever courage. What is that? Well, it's not about being the biggest or the strongest. It's a kind of bravery that comes from being smart, being patient, and really, truly understanding what makes you unique. And we see her put this into practice right away. Lumi doesn't just charge in. Look at how she does it. First, careful observation. She's watching the water. Then, deliberate balance, using her small frame to stay steady. And finally, patient action, choosing every single step wisely. This wasn't luck, folks. This was pure skill. So all that clever courage, it absolutely pays off. The bell comes home, and Lumi gets a hero's welcome that I'm pretty sure she never, ever expected. So there she is, down by the water, and she finds it, the golden bell, caught up in a mess of roots. And exactly like she planned, she uses care, she uses patience, not brute force, and just gently works it free. Mission accomplished. And you can really see the transformation here. Look at the image on the left. She's feeling lost, surrounded by giants. But now, on the right, she's focused, she's confident, she's the one leading the way. Her journey wasn't just about getting a bell back. It was something that happened deep inside her. So when she comes back, soaking wet but totally triumphant, that beautiful sound of the bell rings through the forest again, and it's just this huge wave of relief and celebration. Seriously, the whole forest, from the tiniest fox to the biggest bear, is cheering for this little lamb who saved the day. All right, so what does this all mean? What's the big takeaway from Lumi's adventure? Let's break it down. Okay, so get this. The world around Lumi hasn't changed at all. But she is completely different. She doesn't see herself as too little to matter anymore. Not at all. She's learned this incredibly important truth, that real bravery, it's not about your size. It's about knowing who you are and having the courage to use the gifts you've got.
And that really brings us to the core lesson of the whole story. And it's so powerful. It's this. Bravery isn't about being the biggest or strongest. It's about using your own gifts with courage, care, and a clever heart.
When you really think about it, Lumi's story is just this amazing reminder, isn't it? That those very things we doubt about ourselves, the things that maybe make us feel small or different, well, they might just be the exact strength the world needs right now.
And that brings us right back to the question I asked at the very beginning. So I'll leave you with this to think about. When you look at your own life and your own unique skills, what's a challenge out there that you, and maybe only you, are perfectly equipped to solve?